Hi, everyone. I know that everybody is slowly trickling in, but we're going to go ahead and get started because we have a full agenda. So, thank you all so much for being here to our 2025 virtual national meeting. My name is Lisbeth Juarez. I am very, very excited to have this program with you today. We actually have all chapters represented, which is, I believe, a record thing for us. Four different time zones. So definitely a huge congratulations and thank you again for all making some time in your busy days to be here. And just a little background on this virtual national meeting. We really wanted to test this format to connect with everyone, not just with the delegates, but also your chapter members and our alumni. We want to connect with you and keep you informed with what we're doing in our fraternity. And before we dive into today's agenda, I would like to take a moment to recognize our leadership team. These individuals play a vital role in our organization and ensure their success. So we have President Mike Grover, Policy Board Chairman Gary Hodge, Vice President of Expansion Josh Gabbard, Central Southern Regional Director Riley Salmon, Eastern Regional Director Trevor Schreider, Great Lakes Regional Director Rachel McDowell, Western Regional Director Ivy Wong, Policy Board Member Justin Petty, National Compliance Officer Hannah Go, Chief Executive Officer Sandra Finley, Chief Information Officer Lee Stanford. Thank you all for your leadership and dedication to PCT. Now we're going to go over today's agenda so that we can stay on track because, like I said earlier, we have a full agenda and I really want you to get to hear from our speakers. So we will be hearing about the state of the fraternity from our president, Mike Grover. We will be then followed by our newest fraternity partner, Epic Hire. We will then have a 15-minute break before we head over to our level of leadership speaker. Now, please, I'm giving you a heads up right now about the level up leadership part of our agenda because we're going to be joining a separate Zoom meeting. This is hosted through our partner Campus Speak. So we're about to email you a second Zoom link invitation for that part of the program. After our speaker is done with her program, we will then come back and we will break out into different breakout rooms from the regions. I do want to point out Central Southern and the Great Lakes region will have a shared breakout room, and the regional directors will host the discussion on that. After that, we will have a 10-minute break and then we will come back in and have the foundation presentation. So, a lot going on today. Now, I would like to give it over to Mike, who will be talking about the state of the fraternity and everything that we have coming up.
Alrighty, thanks very much, Elizabeth. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Hope everybody's got some coffee or tea to help wake you up this morning. Like Elizabeth mentioned, my name is Mike Grover, and I'm the National President of Phi Chi Theta. I'm really excited to be here with you today to participate in the amazing program that Elizabeth has put together for us and to share some updates on everything that we've been up to at the national level. Before I dive into my updates, I do want to take a moment to thank Elizabeth for all of the hard work that she put into organizing this program and bringing us all together today. So, Elizabeth, we appreciate everything that you do for the fraternity, and thank you very much. If you can go ahead and move to the next slide, just I don't think anybody wants to stare at my headshot for too long. But I hope that everybody here is ready for a day of learning and connecting with your brothers and sisters from other chapters. My ask is for all of you to be present throughout the program, engage with the material, engage with each other, and make the most out of our time together. As with all national programs, you'll get more value today the more effort that you put in. And I'm excited to see how today's program will impact your chapters and impact you personally as leaders. I'm going to start by covering some highlights of the biennium so far and what we expect to do over the course of the rest of the school year. I do want to be sure to mention that all of the programs and accomplishments that I'm going to cover are made possible by our officers on the Executive Council, who are all volunteers, as well as our incredible staff in the National Office, Sandra and Liz. So I want to take a moment just to thank all of our officers and Sandra and Liz for everything that they do and their dedication to Phi Chi Theta. The first and easiest item to cover is today's virtual national program. During the COVID-19 pandemic, we were able to successfully pivot and host a similar program in place of our usual in-person regional meetings. And when it became safe to do so, we were very excited to get back to hosting these events in person. However, based on some feedback that we received from those meetings, as well as regional meetings that were hosted prior to the pandemic, we understood that there was a need to adjust the program. We very consistently receive feedback from attendees that the meetings were difficult to attend in person due to scheduling issues often caused by summer internships, and traveling to attend was cost prohibitive for many chapters and individual members. The final piece of feedback that led us to shift today's program to a virtual setting was a consistent feeling from attendees that the programs themselves were not long or in-depth enough to really warrant traveling to be together in person. So, today's program is the first half of our new attempt to refresh the regional meetings. At an in-person regional meeting, you would spend half of the day engaged in programming planned at the national level, which is what we're going through today. And then you would spend the second half of the day engaged in locally tailored programming planned by your regional director. Today's program is going to be followed by virtual regional programs that your regional directors are going to be hosting for you. Similar to today, there'll be half-day programs, but these will be tailored to attendees from your regions. We're really excited to be able to announce the dates for these at the end of today's call, and we'll start distributing details and registration links in the coming weeks. My ask for all of you is to provide us with your open and honest feedback after today's meeting and after your region's virtual program in the coming months. We want to understand how this new modality measures up to our past in-person events, and we're happy to consider any suggestions to further improve these programs in the future. All right. Well, now that I'm done soapboxing about today's program, I do want to take some time to highlight some key accomplishments from our national office. So far this biennium, we've successfully released one issue of the Iris. We've got one more to come later this school year. Thank you to all of our chapters that help us by submitting articles and photos of your chapter events for the Iris. Please keep those coming and keep in mind that you can receive bonus points on your calendar of due dates for submitting materials for the Iris. We've also conducted one semester of our national mentoring program so far this biennium, and we've got one more to come this spring. Registration for the program opens on March 3rd, so please, everybody, consider signing up and encourage other members of your chapter to sign up for a mentor as well. We're always really glad to see our active members engaging with our alumni through that program. All right, Elizabeth, if we can move to the next slide. I want to move on and cover a quick update on expansion. We have some great news here. Our new chapter groups have been keeping Josh, our National Vice President of Expansion, very busy so far this biennium. We have two chapters that were installed early in the school year after being voted and approved at the very end of the last biennium. So I want to welcome to Phi Chi Theta our new brothers and sisters of the Zeta Alpha chapter at the University of Miami, installed on September 7th, and of the Eta Alpha chapter at the University of California, Davis, installed on September 28th. We also had the pleasure of welcoming another new chapter that we voted on very early in this biennium, and that's the Gamma Upsilon chapter at Duquesne University, installed on October 8th. Welcome. And finally, I'm really excited to announce that we have two additional petitioning groups that will be installed this next week. We're really excited to welcome the Zeta Eta chapter at the University of Texas at Dallas. They're actually going to be installed tomorrow, February 9th, and the Alpha Tau chapter at the University of Arizona to be installed on Wednesday, February 12th. Seeing all of the consistent growth that our organization is experiencing is always cause for celebration, and we have a lot of other active leads that we'll continue to pursue throughout the rest of the biennium. We actually have a petitioning group joining us on today's call as well, so we're really excited to see all of the great work that everybody does to get these new chapters installed and welcome them into the Phi Chi Theta family. Thanks, Elizabeth. You read my mind. One additional new partnership that I do want to highlight is our partnership with Epic Hire. We have representatives from Epic Hire joining us today to talk more in depth about the platform and the partnership. So I'm not going to steal their thunder, but Elizabeth, our National Vice President of Programming, has done a phenomenal job working to bring this partnership to fruition. And I'm really excited to see the future success that we'll achieve together. Now, shifting gears a little bit, we do have to talk a bit about the not so fun topic of compliance. As some of you here are painfully aware, we do sometimes receive reports that our chapters aren't doing the things that they're supposed to be doing. They might be violating bylaws, violating policies, or even the risk management agreement. So we do have a National Compliance Officer, Hannah Go, who is responsible for conducting independent investigations when any of these issues are reported to us. And then she gives us recommendations for any follow-up actions that the Policy Board and Executive Council can vote on. At the very tail end of the last semester, a chapter was placed under investigation by the university for an incident that was reported. We are participating in the investigation alongside the university, and then depending on the outcome of the university's investigation, we may decide to pursue some additional investigation and steps ourselves before we decide on a path forward for the chapter. And then more recently, we had another chapter that was placed under investigation by us as the result of a social media post from a former rushee alleging quite a bit of misconduct from the chapter over the years. The alleged issues are problematic enough to warrant a full investigation from our side, so we've got that kicked off as well. Those two incidents are the main updates that we have from a compliance perspective so far this school year, but I do want to take a moment just to remind you all that the perception of your chapter on your campus is reality. Obviously, you're required to abide by our bylaws, to abide by our policies, and to abide by the risk management agreement that I'll remind you that you all sign. But if you're seen doing something that could potentially be misperceived as an issue, that can also be reported and result in a full investigation or even action against your chapter. So just keep this in mind while you're planning your programs and your events and use your common sense. If you have questions about whether an event would be appropriate, reach out to your regional director, reach out to the national office, or even reach out to me directly. The best way to ensure that you won't be on the wrong side of an investigation is to be thoughtful about the way you plan your chapter's events and programs for the semester. All right, now that we've covered compliance, I do want to shift and cover a few programs that we run at the national level. The first program I want to cover is our new Alumni Ambassador Program. During the last biennium, our National Vice President of Alumni Affairs produced a report with recommendations for certain aspects of our alumni structure and how we engage with our alumni. The Policy Board took this under consideration and drafted a new Alumni Ambassador Program, which was then voted into place by the Executive Council at the beginning of this biennium. This program is focused on building a pathway for us to engage alumni groups that are not organized formally as alumni chapters, keep those folks involved and informed, and then provide them with the resources they need when they're ready to explore forming a formal alumni chapter. I appointed our former VP of Alumni Affairs, Christine Wong, as the new Alumni Ambassador Chair, and Christine's focus so far this biennium has been in contacting key alumni to recruit ambassadors. We have a few leads for ambassadors and even one person who's interested in jumping straight to the formation of an alumni chapter, so that person's been referred over to Josh as the VP of Expansion. But I'm really looking forward to seeing all of the great work that Christine's able to accomplish here and how this effort evolves in the future with our alumni engagement. The second program that I want to touch on is our Chapter Activity Grant Program. This program has actually been around for quite a while, and for those of you who aren't familiar, chapters can actually apply for grants to help fund successful events that are specifically targeted at new membership on campus. In order to supplement the in-person networking aspect of the regional meetings that we felt we might lose by moving to a virtual program, we actually decided to expand this chapter activity grant program to also cover funding for in-person multi-chapter programs that have a clear purpose to use a philanthropic or professional event to facilitate networking across multiple chapters. This updated program was approved by the Executive Council just this past Wednesday, and copies of that program and the application for grants are now available in all of your chapter drop boxes. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions about this expanded program, and I really hope to see all of you taking advantage of this and using it to network with other chapters. And finally, I do want to mention our Chapter Event Awards program. Every semester, we vote on the most creative and impactful philanthropy, fundraising, and professional events that are submitted to the national office via the event forms that your chapters complete. The winner in each category receives national recognition, a cash award, and placement in the next issue of the Iris. So I'm really happy to announce the winners for the fall 2024 semester. Elizabeth, if you can move to the next slide. In the philanthropy category, the Alpha Mu chapter, and in both the fundraising and professional categories, the Zeta Rho chapter. Congratulations to our winners. We're really excited to read more about the events in the next issue of the Iris. And I'll also mention that every time we hand out these awards, there is at least one chapter that forgets to cash the check. So if you are a winner, please cash the check. Don't lose it when it's mailed to you. And congratulations again. All right. So now that we've covered everything that's happened so far this biennium, let's shift gears a little and talk about where we stand today. And we'll do that in terms of our membership numbers as well as a brief mention of our finances. Next slide, please, Lisbeth. I'm really happy to report that active membership is currently at the highest that it's been in the past 20 years. We see trends in our numbers that indicate that active membership and recruitment are both staying strong and increasing, in fact, which is fantastic to see. There is one quick comment that I want to make here, and it's that we recognize that in a post-pandemic world, college students in particular are more discerning than ever in the way that they spend their time and the organizations that they're willing to devote their energy to. The alumni on the call can probably attest to the fact that when we were in college, it was pretty normal for students to pick three, four, five organizations to be a part of. And nowadays, we know that that's just not the case. The folks on your campus are usually picking one or two organizations to really dig in with and make an impact. But our numbers don't lie. We still have really great membership and recruitment numbers. So the message that we have here is just to keep up the great work and use your connections from today and the subsequent virtual regional programs as an opportunity to talk to other chapters about things like advertising and recruitment tactics. If you're having trouble with either of those areas or maybe both of them, leverage the knowledge on the call to help solve any of the problems that your chapter's facing and get some new ideas. Ask questions, share stories about what has and hasn't worked for your chapter. And for those chapters who are particularly successful in these areas, be sure to share the things that do and don't work for your chapter. There's a lot of folks on the call who can benefit from your knowledge. All right. Thanks, Lisbeth. Next, I want to touch briefly on our finances. The most important thing at a high level to note is that we budget conservatively at all times. We tend to underestimate the number of members that we'll recruit and overestimate the expenses that we'll have to avoid overstretching our budget. The good news is that this tends to result in surplus profit at the end of each of our fiscal years. And in the past, we've had the good fortune to use our surpluses for the following focus areas, and these are likely the areas that we'll continue to support in the coming years. The first place that we like to spend surplus is on our national meeting budget to ensure that as many experiences and meals as possible are covered, as well as hotel stays for our delegates. This allows each chapter to ensure that they really only have to pay the delegates' way to the national meeting and everything else is covered. Of course, we encourage chapters to send as many members as would like to attend a national meeting. We love seeing chapters send more than one attendee, but the costs are subsidized for our delegates in particular to ensure that every chapter has at least one person present. The next key surplus spend is on our new membership management system called IMIS. We've been standing up this new system that will allow chapters to manage their own rosters and officer transitions, pay fees and dues through the platform, provide newly hosted external and member websites, and generally streamline much of our operations for the national office, as well as your day-to-day as officers interacting with the national office. We have a few chapters who are helping us beta test some features with IMIS this semester, and we're looking forward to a broad launch later this spring, aiming to have every chapter up and running on IMIS for the fall semester. Another important item that I do want to call out is our use of surplus to ensure that our paid staff at the national office are well taken care of. We provide bonuses each year for Sandra and Liz for the great work that they do. I want to note that while they are salaried professionals, Phi Chi Theta, as a not-for-profit organization, isn't able to offer benefits like healthcare and retirement plans. So it's really important that we make sure to recognize and reward their hard work in this way. Another item that we use our surplus for is setting aside a portion of it for special projects. This is actually how we originally built up the funding required to purchase IMIS, our new membership database and web hosting system. And we plan to use some additional set-asides to fund new programs like Leadership Academy and a future investment in technology to streamline our operations. And then finally, any leftover funding is always placed into savings to help build up a cash buffer for any future financial hardships. This is really important for us to ensure that we're prepared for any possibility like a global pandemic that nobody would see coming, or, just to make sure that our insurance provider sees what they like to see in our finances. Our insurance provider does really like to see that we have a cash buffer available. It makes this easier to insure, and it allows us the benefit of lower rates for insurance, which then is passed on to all of you in your insurance assessment fees. So overall, from a financial perspective, I'll just leave you with one comment, and that's that I'm consistently very pleased with how our financials look as an organization. our method of budgeting conservatively, investing in programs for chapters when presented to us, and using surpluses to fund special projects for new programs and technology has really resulted in a thriving organization and one that continues to be able to deliver to our members while maintaining a healthy financial picture and balance. All right. Well, we've spent a lot of time covering what's happened so far this biennium and then giving a little bit of a snapshot of where we stand today with membership and financials. So all that's really left to cover is where we go from here. So let's start with everybody here on today's call. The biggest ask from us is to continue all of the great work that you do at the local chapter level. Keep recruiting, work with your pledges to get them through initiation, put on great programs for your local chapters, and help grow our membership base. Your regional directors are going to leave today's call and continue planning their virtual regional programs, and you'll all be required to attend those for your region. Like I mentioned earlier, we'll have those dates to share at the end of today's call. And the regional directors will also be scheduling and attending formal visitations to review your chapter's progress, successes, and areas for improvement. So please be sure to be responsive and work closely with your regional directors to get those visitations done. And for those of you who are going to be visited in person, coordinate those visits early so that the regional directors have plenty of time to plan their travel. Our National Vice President of Expansion, Josh, has 2 more chapters to install this week, and then moving forward, he'll be following up on more leads and working with our active petitioning groups to bring those in and help them cross over to newly installed chapters. We're hoping to have quite a few newly installed chapters ahead of our next national meeting in 2026. Our National Vice President of Programming, Lisbeth, is going to shift focus from today's program to some other national programs and working with chapters to identify any local programs that might scale well nationally as well. I've also asked Lisbeth to collaborate with me as the National President on a Leadership Academy pilot program, and we're hoping to design that this year and roll that out in the next school year. From my side as the national president, in addition to collaborating with Lisbeth on that leadership pilot, my focus is going to be on planning the 2026 national meeting with Sandra and Liz in the national office, in addition to fielding some requests that we've received to collaborate with another vendor that we're starting to explore called Omega Phi for financial management tools for our chapters. And that's pretty much everything I have prepared for you today regarding the state of the fraternity. I do want to wrap things up by saying that overall, I'm really pleased with where we stand today as a national organization. Our membership numbers look great. Our financials are solid. When it comes to things like risk management, we're doing everything that we need to do to mitigate our risks and handle one-off issues when they arise. I want to take another moment to thank the Executive Council, thank our national committee chairs, and thank Sandra and Liz for all of the hard work that they've done so far this year and everything that's going to be accomplished over the course of the rest of the biennium. I want to thank all of you for all of the great work that you do locally with your chapters as well. Our fraternity is really only as great as each individual makes it, and it's because of all of the effort that everybody on this call and all of our colleagues at our local chapters put in that we succeed as a group. And finally, I do want to leave you with the announcement of the national meeting location for 2026. So Elizabeth, if you want to move to the next slide. We will be traveling west in 2026 to host our next national meeting in Salt Lake City, Utah. So over the next few months, we'll be selecting and contracting with a hotel. We'll have some more information coming out soon, like dates and registration links, and we're really excited to see you all in person in 2026. So thank you all again for your time today. I hope you enjoy the rest of the program, and I will go ahead and hand things back to Elizabeth now to introduce our next speakers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike, for the update. It's very clear that we're working so hard, and with the strong leadership that we have, our future looks bright. So, as we continue to grow and provide more value to our members, one of our key priorities is professional development, ensuring that our members have access to the resources and connections and opportunities that you need to thrive. With that in mind, I am excited to announce our newest partner, Epic Hire, which we established this partnership the fall of last year. And today with us, we have Kale, who many of you may already know. Kale is a platform growth manager at Epic Hire. He started his career in IT consulting, working with amazing companies in the Silicon Valley and helping them with job placement and project completion. After finding plenty of success, Kale took the plunge to join Epic Hire, where he leads efforts of centered around customers and students using the platform. Outside of Epic Hire, Kale loves to go out in nature and is super active and recently married the love of his life, and he actually resides in San Diego, California. So I will give it over to Kale. Um,
Hey, thank you, Liz. Good morning, everybody. I know I've met with some of you, but it's nice to meet all the rest of you. Liz, Elizabeth, I appreciate your time. Mike, thank you for this. It's great to get introduced to everybody nationally. I'm excited for this. Like I said, some of you have already talked about Epic Hire with the team, but I'm excited to talk about a quick overview of it. I'm going to share my screen, give you the overview from my side. I'm excited to cover it. Give me just a second. Cool. Let's see where I'm at. Got it. Thumbs up. See my screen? Good to go? All right. I think that's a bunch of thumbs up. Epic Hire, college hiring platform. This is very, very professional development focused. I'm extremely excited for the partnership, extremely grateful for Liz and Lisbeth's collaboration over the last half year or so as we started to implement this. Um, Imagine you're at a career fair, you're passing out resumes, you're looking for your internship, your next career opportunity, those 2025 grads coming up. And you're stressed, you're passing out resumes, you're not sure where to go next. Or maybe some of you have already done a lot of great professional development. Epic Hire is trying to help students stand out and be more than a resume. That's the individual goal. We know that it's hard for you all to stand out. We want you to be able to tell your story in the form of content, help companies meet you where you're at, which is on a platform that's very much similar to that we know today. But as it relates to the chapter level, we know professional development is extremely important as well. So what we've helped Phi Theta on nationally and locally is an enhancement and an upgrade to digital resume books and the sponsor engagement platform that you all use. So just going into Epic Hire, let me scroll to the next. This is my Epic Hire page. I wanted to give you the chance to get to know me more than my resume, right? So as you can see here, this is my alumni profile. I graduated from Chico State. Shout out Phi Chi Theta chapter at Chico State. As you can see, my family, my coworker team. I recently got married. I love the outdoors, my faith, road trip. I was also in a fraternity in college. Now I've got 5 years work experience. Just a way for you to get to understand somebody from a whole new perspective. And like I said, Epic Hire is helping you be more than a resume. So this is an example of a profile from USF, Phi Chi Theta USF chapter shout out, Claudia and the team there. The hiring platform of tomorrow for today's student. The big focus that we're excited about here is the digital resume book. Sponsors that you've worked so hard to build good relationships with, or you have a really big focus on expanding your sponsor portfolio. This is a fantastic way to continue to add value to active sponsor relationships. This is a fantastic way to build professional development efforts in an effort to expand on sponsor opportunities. And it's also a great way to stay in touch with alumni, current members, eBoard, and National Phi Chi Theta members across the US. This that we're looking at here is an example of a recent sports competition some of you may be familiar with that we co-hosted in tandem with the Atlanta Hawks and Baylor University. So students from across the US went and participated in a sports sales competition, full-on bracket style, Elite Eight, Final Four, ultimate winner. And they all had Epic Hire profiles because the judges and the judging teams, the Phoenix Suns, Chicago Bulls, Hornets, etc. here, they all wanted a way to recruit the students afterwards. And so they've got the resume book of the whole competition here. And I show you this to show you the value of what it's like to have sponsors have access to your digital resume book. As you can see, they can do a couple of things, which is view the content that you choose to post and share about yourself with. They can have your resume for recruiting opportunities, and they can send messages and engage with your organization through the community threads. Students, alumni, and sponsors all find an opportunity to stay connected here. So I know that it's extremely important for alumni, as we know that you're on this call, to stay in touch with the Phi Chi Theta chapters locally, nationally, regionally, etc. We've built a Phi Chi Theta Nationals page that we'll have you all join today so that you can stay in touch with individual chapters or chapters all together at the national level and keep alumni up to date and interactive with your organization as well. I know a lot of times alumni graduate from your organization, maybe fall off, or maybe get into a great organization that you want to still continue to work with, either at an individual mentorship level or you want an organization to come sponsor your chapter. This is a great platform for alumni, sponsors, active members, and admin and e-board members to find themselves and engage. There's also more than just the resume book. There's careers, internships, and sponsors, right? So We've worked really hard as a company to build a fantastic network of companies who just want to hire college students, who know that college students are more than a resume, who want to see you stand out, who want to recruit in a whole unique and familiar way, right? We see a lot of similarities to social media, like I saw. We see a lot of similarities to other platforms that are professional development focused. So we wanted to give companies an opportunity to give you opportunities. And we help put you in a better position the way that we've designed it. By marking I'm interested, you tell the recruiter that you're interested in the role, and they get to see your profile and send you a message rather than the other way around, trying to send out applications, throw out a bunch of resumes, etc. And the goal of this is to help facilitate an in-person experience, just like a career fair, just like a networking event, just like a speaking engagement, all for a company to get to know who you are. Because where it really all goes down is the one-on-one conversation. We want to help you get to that one-on-one conversation in a whole familiar but unique way. So it's kind of cool to see some of the companies who have taken a stance with us and joined the platform, have invested in us and want to find students like Phi Chi Theta nationally to recruit from and partner with. So the first step of many, and what is relatively simple, is just to join. Some of you have already talked with me. It's been awesome to meet with you all. Some of you are already a part of the Phi Chi Theta Nationals page. I think we got about a dozen to 15 different chapters on the platform. But we want all of you to join. We want all of you to get the opportunity to build a digital resume book, enhance value to sponsors, opportunity to get new sponsors through the Epic Hire Network with all the companies you just saw. So any student members, student brothers of Phi Chi Theta, please, if you've got iOS, pull out your phone, scan the QR code. This is going to take you directly to the Phi Chi Theta Nationals page. It may prompt you to make a profile. It takes 10, maybe 15 minutes to make a full profile, kind of like the one I showed you. But you'll join the rest of Phi Chi Theta members across the US and the Phi Chi Theta Nationals page. The next one is for alumni. I know we got a few of you on here. Appreciate you being here. We want you to join on too. We want you to stay connected with your local chapter. We want you to stay connected with your national chapter here. So alumni, if you have iOS, pull out your phone, scan the QR code. We'll take you directly to Phi Chi Theta Nationals page. If you don't have iOS, I know we're a little bit behind on Android. Unfortunately, you could still use web. There's a website, and here's the instructions there. If you want to find Phi Chi Theta Nationals, you just go to epichire.com. You can build your profile the same way. Search Phi Chi Theta Nationals in the organizations page and request to join, and Liz can happily accept you into the organization. Again, this is one that's already found hundreds of Phi Chi Theta members. We want all of you to be here. We want to try to create a community of engagement, of excitement, of sponsorships, etc. And the steps moving forward is just to build your profile, to create your chapter like I've shown here, Phi Chi Theta. I recommend a hyphen with the chapter distinction, president, vice president, what your role is, and the school is that you're at. And then from there, I'll be happy to work with you all on getting the rest of the organization on, onboarding active sponsors, access to your digital resume. But companies love this. Companies are telling us that they want to continue to give back to the chapters that are participating. It increases the value of your sponsorship package depending on how you offer it. And then I want to help you also do some discovery around how to get more sponsorships, right? There's a ton of opportunity to use the digital resume book that you built to reach out to companies in your prospectus and say, hey, look at this new awesome platform that we've partnered with to create our digital resume book where you can filter through all of our resumes by grad year, by major, by where we want to work, by what time frame we want to work, etc. So I'm happy to start working with you all. I'd love to meet with you all. If you can, please scan the QR code here and set up a time on the calendar. That'll just take maybe 20 minutes to talk through what it looks like to get the rest of the chapter onboarded. Generally a simple kind of workshop or meeting with the organization or even a digital campaign. But excited to work with you all on getting Phi Chi Theta involved, upgrading sponsor development opportunities, professional development, acceleration. I'm extremely excited. That's all I have for today. I didn't know if there was any questions that we were going to open up here. I don't think so. But again, happy to meet with everybody. Feel free to reach out. I believe that this will be sent out afterwards too, so you got my email. I'm excited to work with all the different chapters. Liz, is there anything else that you'd like me to cover or touch on?
No, Kale, I think you did great, but we do have a couple of minutes. So if anybody has questions that you want to ask here or in the chat that Kale could answer, I think that will be great. I'm sure that whatever question you have, somebody else probably also has it. So right now is your chance to get all your questions answered. So, okay,
No,
I see one. Is it better to use our personal email or school email? Ooh.
Fantastic question. So, in order to make this a college specific platform, we've made it so you have to use your EDU email. That helps legitimize the student base. And so further validates that there's only college students on here and alumni of student organizations that are looking for careers and internships. So I recommend using your EDU email, or you rather you have to use your EDU email to sign up, but then you have the opportunity to use your personal email and your preferred contact method for being reached out to. So it doesn't matter which one you use. I recommend the one that you use most, but you have to sign up with your EDU email. Good question.
I guess a follow-up question. We do have some alums here, and obviously they don't have their EDU emails anymore. So is it okay if they use their personal email? And will they still need to link their account to their school/chapter profile?
Yeah, you don't need an EDU email as an alumni profile. You'll notice if you've started to sign up, it gives you three options to choose from. You can make a student profile, alumni profile, or employer profile. You'll make an alumni profile if you've graduated. You can use a personal email, doesn't require EDU, but you can still list the school that you graduated from. Good question.
Any other questions?
Two thumbs up. Thank you everyone for the time. I appreciate it. I'm extremely excited about this. Liz, Lisbeth, Mike, you guys have been extremely hospitable. I appreciate the time. I might stick around just to see how the rest of some of this goes because I love working with you all. But thank you again for the time. Looking forward to talking with you all later.
Thank you, Kale. And we are actually running a little bit ahead of schedule. So let me go in here. I think we're going to go ahead and do the break before our next speaker. So I am about to send in the chat. I'm sending in the chat the other link for the Campus Speak presentation, and you should have already gotten an email about it too. But again, we're going to regroup at 10:45 at the other Zoom link. After the speaker finishes, we're going to come back here. Does that make sense to everyone? Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we really want to get started on time, so I will suggest joining 2 minutes before 10:45. That would be great. But you guys have break until then, so thank you so much. For them to talk about what they do and just opportunities for you guys to stay involved. So uh, we have Trevor Schreider and Mark Langdon presenting on their behalf. So Mark and Trevor, you can kick it off.
All right.
I'll let you kick it off, Trevor.
Yeah, here, let me share my screen. I have the presentation open. Give me just a minute and let me know if you all can see that.
Yes.
Perfect. All right. Let me just make sure I can click. Okay, great. So thank you guys again very much for one, allowing the foundation to be able to present, but also just for your dedication. Like Lisbeth said, I think it's obviously been a long day, so we're not going to keep you much longer, we promise. But did just want to go over the foundation as a whole. I think there's a lot of really valuable information here, so now is a great time to keep your ears kind of open on these opportunities, especially for your chapters, because obviously there's money on the line. So I think it helps to be able to know about it and what that means for you guys individually. So obviously we mentioned today we're here to talk about opportunities that could impact your educational journey, your future career in business and economics, etc. But we did want to talk about the foundation and our unique scholarship program. So we'll introduce a little bit about the foundation and who we are. Um, and keeping in mind that it's not just financial support necessarily, but it's an opportunity for you guys to be able to, or for us to be able to invest in you guys as future leaders, right? As the executives that you will be, as the CMOs, the CEOs, the CFOs of these different organizations, and showing our commitment to who we are as a whole. So we're able to do that through our 501c3 nonprofit designation. We do offer these scholarships to those who exemplify the qualities like we just mentioned. And also you must have a degree in business or economics, which obviously everybody does. But also just keeping in mind too that all of the people that you are about to see on the next slide are all volunteers, right? This is a completely, they dedicate their time, their resources to be able to benefit you. So you can see here we have Annette, who's our president. We have Missy, Mark, who's on the call today to present as well. And then you have Tracy, myself, Elise, and Danny. I think I got everybody, and Missy too, if I didn't say Missy, apologies. But overall, I think you can see that these are the people behind the force that are really here to support you, whether that be from a scholastic perspective, monetary perspective, whatever it is. We're here to give you guys some guidance, give you guys whatever we can to be able to make sure that you thrive in this environment. So without further ado, I will pass it off to Mark.
All right, thanks, Trevor. All right, let's talk about the numbers. So since 2003, our foundation has awarded over 100 scholarships totaling around 100 grand, with more than 11 grand in awarded grants. This is a long-standing commitment that underscores our dedication to fostering the next generation of business and economic professionals. So apart from the obvious financial benefit, receiving a Phi Chi Theta scholarship places you among a distinguished group of individuals recognized for potential and your drive. So, for example, winners like Elise and Josh, who are active alum and have been awarded multiple times, exemplify that sort of success and ongoing support our foundation aims to promote. All right, next slide, please. All right, so for 2025, we have a continuing tradition with 6 fully endowed scholarships and 2 annual scholarships. So we've got the following memorial scholarships: Lester F. Richardson, Naomi L. Satterfield, Anna E. Hall, Helen D. Snow, Dr. K. A. Durden, and the Mary Ellen Lewis Memorial Scholarship to give out to winning applicants. All right, next slide, please. We also have the Ingenitech Annual Scholarship and the Zeta Rho USF Annual Scholarship, exclusive for Phi Chi members attending University of South Florida. So if you're at USF on this call, please don't hesitate to apply and ask your chapter members to apply. All right, I'll hand it back over to you, Trevor.
Awesome. So the real reason that we're here today is obviously to make sure that you guys are in the know of PCT Educational Foundation, but also the bigger part here is scholarship applications are actually open. We opened these I want to say about a month ago, so just know that the deadline to submit this is going to be June 15th of 2025. And I know that seems like it's really, really far away, but keep in mind there's a few different things that you're going to need to be able to apply. Remember as well that the number of scholarships that we award is dependent on how many applications we receive. So if we receive 10 applications, we might give out 4 scholarships, 5 scholarships. If we receive 30 applications, we might give out more, right? It all depends on where we see the engagement, where we see you guys requesting these funds, but also, like Mark kind of hinted at, there's some specialty scholarships, right, that are up for grabs as well. And I would just re-mention something that he brought up as well that I think we kind of glanced over a little bit last year, but we've given out over $100,000 of funds for as long as the Educational Foundation has been in existence, right? So chances of you receiving something like that are pretty good. That's been over 100 recipients that have gotten some kind of support from this program. So what I would do if I was you is I would scan this QR code, You don't even have to show your face for it. You don't have to come on video. You could just take your phone, which I know many of you probably have handy right now, and go ahead and scan this QR code, and it will take you directly to that link to be able to apply. It'll go through all the requirements that you need to be able to fill out. So, for example, recommendation letters, your transcripts, and as well as the scholarship, the essay questions, which you can make all of those ahead of schedule. But what I would encourage you to do is that link that pops up, that Google form, once you do scan it, take that and copy the URL into a place that you're going to be able to retrieve it again later, because I would encourage you to share it with your chapters in your next meetings. I know recruitment is a hot topic right now, and I know those are priorities, but also once that kind of dies down a little bit, I think this is where your next big focus should really be, because it directly impacts you guys as people, not just as members of Phi Chi Theta, but as people in general, and how you will be able to advance your career moving forward. So go ahead, we'll leave this up for a little bit longer, but I would definitely encourage you guys to go ahead, scan it, take this opportunity to be able to better yourselves.
Did he freeze? Oh no. Ah, let me text Trevor. But Mark, I'm not sure if you want to add anything to what Trevor just said.
Just, this money is up for grabs, and we really enjoy, going through all the scholarship applications, and there's nothing to lose. So that's really just it, just encouragement.
Yeah. And echoing to what Trevor also said earlier, yeah, it might seem that June is like far away, but really when you start working on your application and the essay, it takes a little while. So start working on that and share with your chapters also about this opportunity. Just because you're applying doesn't mean that somebody else cannot apply.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. That is great. And I apologize, everybody. My Just Salad Wi-Fi went out, so I was trying to get it all going up. But like Elizabeth said, this deadline does creep up. Before you know it, you're going to be in final season, and you guys know once final season comes around, you're going to be dead focused on that. So I would definitely encourage, the sooner the better. Do it when you have some downtime. And also, thank you guys very much for taking the time to be here again. Much appreciated. And thank you, Mark, for presenting as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark and Trevor. Now we are at the very end of our program. I know it's been a long day, and I mean, a lot of effort from all of you. And I know you're probably hating us from forcing you to be engaging in our discussions and participating in everything. But we truly thank you for your time. I do want to just tell you a couple of things that what's next after this program. And the first one is we're going to send out a post attendance survey. And this is for you to provide us your feedback. Like Mike mentioned earlier, we really wanted to test this out, kind of like bridge the gap between the chapters and nationals and make it like easy for everyone to just hear from nationals, but also to be involved. So again, the survey is going to be going out later today. We will also send out the slides from everyone. The slides that I used, the Phi Chi Theta Foundation, as well as Epic Hire, so that you can relay the information with your chapter. Maybe your first chapter meeting, it's just to go over what we discussed today. Also, a couple of important dates that I want you to keep in mind is that March 15th is the deadline for you to submit your articles and photos for the IRS. Please brag on your events. We have a lot of events that are unique and special, so we really enjoy reading and learning more about them. And I know also other chapters would enjoy just learning what you're up to. And also we have the mentorship program registration. It will open on March 3rd and it will close on March 16th for just the registration. We will then do the mentor-mentee pairings and send that out March 24th. So just keep that in mind. We will also, we want to reveal the save the dates for the regional meetings. We have, everyone is working with the regional directors, so I know the regional directors will be sending you more information about this, but I just wanted you to go ahead and save the date. Also make sure that you share it with your chapter members. The more the merrier. And for our Western region, Ivy went ahead and shared with me the QR code. So I leave that up in the screen for all of you that are in the Western region to go ahead and scan it and register. But again, the regional directors will be sharing with you more information about what their meeting is going to consist of and dates and times. But we really hope that you're there and that more people also join us. So that's it from me. I do want to open the floor and see if anybody has questions or if Mike would like to hop in and just say anything, but we're here for you guys. And really, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope that you gain a lot of information about the fraternity and how to be an intentional leader, not just in your chapter, but also in your professional life and in your community.
Yeah, thanks very much, Elizabeth. Just a couple of things from my side. First of all, want to thank everybody for your participation and your engagement today. I know we have you sitting in front of a computer for quite a while on a Saturday, so we really appreciate you all taking the time. Also, just wanted to take another moment to thank Elizabeth for putting together today's program. She put a lot of hard work, a lot of hours into planning this, so wanted to make sure to acknowledge all of that hard work and shout out Elizabeth. And then, like mentioned, please complete that survey. We'd love to get as much feedback as possible from the group here and look forward to seeing you all at your virtual regional programs as well.
All right. Well, I did see the question about where can we find more information about writing the article for the IRIS. There really is no form that you need to fill out. You just need to write a paragraph and provide us pictures about your event or whatever you're trying to submit to the IRIS and email it to Sandra. And that's about it, right, Sandra?
Send it to nationals@phi-chi-theta.org, and that way Liz and I both get it. We have this, Liz, I collect the articles and Liz lays it all out. So we have a team effort going. We'd love to extend it to beyond your activity reports. Most chapters send us their philanthropy, social, professional, alumni. They send those reports. But if you want to write a professional article for over a topic that you think is important to collegiate students right now, we would love to see those articles. But there is not any particular format that you need to use. And, please proof it before you send it to us. And remember that the national bylaws require that we refer to each other as brothers and sisters. The word brotherhood is, of course, acceptable, but the bylaws say brothers and sisters. So we will change it automatically to members or to something else. So don't be offended. It's in the bylaws. Liz, do you have anything else?
I was just gonna pop in and say that we've had chapters do business podcast reviews, business book reviews, anything you can think of that would be interesting to your fellow peers is great to share. So, and we're open to whatever you want to share with us.
And you can also access the IRIS currently on the webpage if you need to get some ideas of what it looks like or just kind of what we put out there. You're more than welcome to reference the previous issue. All right. Any other questions? No? Well, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Thank you again, and we'll see you next.